So I'm here with Sune, and it is our Mindfulness on Monday feature. Hello again, Sune.
Hi Philippa, how are you doing?
I'm running around crazy, like quite often I am. I'm making no judgment about that, however, because today we're talking about judgment. What is it? Why do we do it? Why, and why is it something that we should even think about?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's quite a biggie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I think it's like what we were just saying is that it's absolutely normal. We do it all the time, and we do it so without thinking. It's just automatic. And yeah, whatever your life experience was, whatever your biases are, whatever your background, there's always some judgment that will come up. And I guess it's just, is this helpful or not helpful
Mm.
in our daily lives?
Yeah, and I mean, this is it really. The automatic nature of thoughts is, we come back to this on a recurring
Mm.
basis because, the limbic system in your brain is this part of your brain that makes decisions before you even have the time to think about it.
Mm.
So that this is part of that.
Mm.
We would be looking to see if this was safe or unsafe. Essentially, is this
Yeah,
going to eat us or not eat us?
yeah,
Poison us or
yeah.
not poison us?
Yeah,
And
and like all of these things has a reason, right? Like it's not as if it's just something that we do, and it's all saved us. Like all of these little things have is part of why we're still here today, I think. But I think it's that difference between judgment and, like, we need judgment and discernment, I think,
mm,
around, is this a useful choice? Is this a not so great choice? And, what are the repercussions? But yeah, it
mm,
is so automatic that it is quite difficult, isn't it? To,
yeah,
to, to
yeah,
not to not be.
not be judgmental
Yeah,
towards
to
other
not be
people.
judgmental. And I think especially when it comes to ourselves, right?
Mm,
Like, it's one thing judging everyone else, because that's what we do all the time, is go around judging everyone's choices and whatever they're doing. But like most things, it begins and ends with us, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. What is it that comes out of your mouth? What is it that greets you in the mirror in the morning? I was just upstairs 2 minutes ago judging myself by what I was going to be wearing.
I was wondering if you ever like self-judge, or if that's ever something that you do.
Yeah, well, I think I do a lot actually, and so this is what I love about exploring these topics because you may think you're at a certain stage of evolution, but I find myself with work still yet to be done. And that's the thing. It's so unhelpful for us to
Yeah,
criticize ourselves.
yeah,
If other people may choose to do it or not, but for us to be doing these things to ourselves
yeah.
is really
Yeah.
the difficult thing to tackle.
Yeah, and if you think about, like, if I think about just today, or like, yeah, yesterday, because yeah, the amount of times you think, oh, I'm such a bad mother, or I should
Mm.
be more organized, or if only I was doing that, or I shouldn't be doing that, I should be doing that. Like, it's just this, like, and it's so instantaneous, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
and I think that's why we practice mindfulness, is to become
Mm.
aware of those inner conversations that we have and those judgments, so that we can go, okay, let me just rephrase that, or let me just stand back and And I think the beauty is that every moment is an opportunity to start again. And okay, well, now I've been self-critical or been judging myself, but yeah, is it helpful? Isn't it helpful? What else can I do? Is it really true? Is it not true? And yeah, and I think the more you do it, the more automatic it becomes. It doesn't mean it doesn't ever happen. It happens all the time, but you're just more aware of it.
Yeah, and I think this is something that it's taken me some time to get to this point. I make no judgments regarding that. But that, for me, the yoga is something that has been in my path over the last couple of years. And, and the more I learn about the non-judgment is one of the founding principles of yoga. And so we're not judging ourselves, our physical ability, our appearance, whether we're strong or whether we think we're weak. It's just that ability to be with whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, yes, non-judgment is suspending that opinion.
Yeah, and yeah, I can totally see what you mean. And especially with something like a physical, in our culture, it's, be more flexible than the person next to you, be able to hold your handstand for longer or whatever it is. And just that constant, I should be more flexible. I've been doing this for 25 years. Surely I should be able to do this. I mean, this happened to me this weekend because I noticed I've gained some weight for whatever reason. I don't know, many, 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 many reasons. But yeah, that was quite a moment. Like, I chose to start unpacking my wardrobe and beautifully repacking it and send it to a friend in the Netherlands we're quite similar size, but she hasn't gone through the same thing I have. So but really, really hard to sit with that feelings of, this is how it is right now. The body is changing, less activity during this period. There's so much, but so hard not to go, oh my God, I look like this. I'm so fat. I'm so lazy, and really having to sit with that discomfort of throwing away a lot of really nice clothes and not judging myself for, having, because that's just what happens, right? Oh, I spent so much money and now I'm throwing it away and da da da. But yeah, just sitting with that uncomfortableness and just being kind to myself and going, this is just the way it is right now. Things will shift. But yeah, it was quite, and I thought about this after, because I know we were talking today, and I went for a run this morning, and I was really thinking about this conversation and what happened this weekend, and how strong and powerful that is. And a lot of the women I work with have, really struggle with, we all do, struggle with our body image, struggle with our wrinkles, our teeth, our this, our that, our light, everything. But it's just not helpful, because that can trigger such a unhelpful response by either, then going to eating more than what I really should do, or drink a bottle of wine, or, feeling quite depressed and low. And then, so it's just this, what I'm trying to say is just this spiral of events in such a short period of time. Like, just the thought, I've gained weight, I'm fat, can spiral this whole event of what's going on in here, and then what you react to do after this. So just kind of breathing and taking a pause and going, okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that idea that what we think fuels our behavior ultimately, how we feel, and then our behavior, and so this is really the purpose of practicing these kinds of techniques is to break that cycle, really, in a way. And certainly, for me, low mood is something that I've battled with through my whole of my adult life, really, and so it's so the potential to think yourself in that downward spiral that you're describing there is so very real, and yet we have this capacity within us to break that cycle, and that cyclical nature applies to so many different things. In physiotherapy, people worry about pain, but you know what? That doesn't make the pain better. If anything, it makes it worse.
Nice.
So that, if we can suspend, we're making a judgment, aren't we, when it comes to pain, for instance. This pain is bad, inherently bad, and therefore it means something bad. And that generates this self-anxiety or anxiety around health. And then the behavior that comes out of that is avoidant behavior, more invariably. Well, quite often, I won't say always, so that particularly with pain. So you avoid anything that creates that symptom. And then actually what can happen is you just get stiffer through not moving. Your muscles get weaker through not using them properly. Maybe you slightly limp if it's a leg condition that ultimately shifts the whole of your center of body mass and puts a load on a different part of you. So that strategy, and I think that illustrates the same thing happens with us mentally, that we can think ourselves into these situations of the downward spiral. And so this is why intercepting the thought is probably the first step, isn't it?
And being aware of it. Being aware that and I love the analogy. It's from Buddhism, and it well, that's obviously where everything originated from anyway. But it's these two arrows that they explain, with the first arrow being the pain, for instance. Like the first arrow is the pain. Like I hit my foot, or I bump my foot against the wall, the foot hurts. That's it. The foot hurts. But then we shoot the second arrow, which is I'm an idiot. Why did I bump my foot? I'm so clumsy. Now I can't do this. So it's like this onslaught of the extra pain and suffering that we're causing for ourselves. Like the pain has happened. That's it. There's pain. Like it's the story and the narrative and the extra that we add to it, which which prolongs our pain and suffering, essentially. So it's becoming aware of what that second arrow is.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's a bit like the weight gain, right? The fact is, I've gained weight. That's it. There's no other story to it. But then the second arrow is, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that, so that's the added bit to it. And I think this is where it also comes in, really useful with perimenopause and menopause as well, right? This is it. Like, this is just what it is, but we add so much else on top of that. And of course, we have to take it in context of, but just the added suffering we can kind of add for ourselves as well.
Yeah. This is the thing, the story that you generate, and your stories are so influenced by your history. Oh dear. So yeah, menopause, that's a whole nother story. Actually, it was quite funny today. I was co-hosting a webinar this morning, and partway through I thought I was doing ever so well, and I thought that I would and I started to play around a little bit on the screen, and I managed to lose my little, the person that was me on the. I lost me. I couldn't find me anywhere. And then we were all muted, and the presenter said, "Could you? Oh, Philippa, what do you think of this, or what do you have to say to this?" So, because I couldn't find my picture, I couldn't work out how to.
How to speak, what?
And so, honestly, I was just so kicking myself. I was totally kicking myself. And in the chat box, I had to put. Well, she said, well, and then of course the moment passed. Just let us know when you find your mic or something. And I was so kicking myself. And then and then it became apparent that there were other ways of doing this without having to have your little picture there.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh. So I blame that on the menopause. I don't know if I should or I shouldn't, but oh dear. So
I mean, you totally can, right?
it can take us at any moment unawares that things happen, and we start to jump on that escalator of downward. Yeah. Oh, why did I fiddle with that icon?
Yeah.
What was that?
Is that what was going on for you when that happened? Can you remember the stream of thoughts?
Oh, I was just so frustrated. Yeah, why can I not do this, is what I was thinking. Why can I not do this? And why is it so hard? And why does it always go wrong? And, and then you get onto that, always.
Yeah. And how are you feeling in your body?
Well, now even just recounting the story, it kind of, it makes you a bit kind of trembly, and I feel it in my stomach, like butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah.
That's where I feel it. So yeah.
So yeah, like this massive cascade of thoughts and feelings, and like wanting to just where's my little picture? And what did you feel like doing? Was it just like,
oh, well, so I go into a total panic. It's what I do. So eventually I found the chat box, and I wrote in the chat box, I found it. When I found it, I wrote, I found my microphone.
I found my picture and I found my microphone.
I never found my picture again. That was the end of that. But I did work out how to unmute myself without my picture. But I'm thinking, looking at a lot of the other women in the room, it was an event for International Women's Day. It's International.
Yes, of course.
And so I was looking at the other little icons of other people who were a lot younger than me, quite a lot of them, and then you start to go, oh, they can do it because they're young, and I can't do it because I'm not. So it's powerful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. And, if you think of it in normal times, I mean, non-menopausal years, how bad it is. But then you've got the onslaught of, all of a sudden you're feeling hot, and then you're also, you have heart palpitations that you didn't have before, and then you feel like you're going to lose your job, and then you feel like you're going to get fired because you messed up. Like, you can totally understand how awful that is in that moment if you don't know what's going on with you, or you don't have the tools to actually, there's the physical stuff, but most of all of that happened in the head, right?
Right.
And the physical feelings, or if that's shaking or heart palpitations, that almost comes, well, sometimes it comes first, but that may be second to what's going on in here. But yeah, I also don't want to be in a room with lots of people younger than me at this stage.
Oh no,
you get to a point, you think, oh no, of course, I did that a while ago. I was still much, much younger, and I thought, oh, I'm going to try some pole dancing. Anyway, I lasted a day because, everyone who was 25 and younger could fold themselves around the pole, and I just realized that no. I think maybe this is one of those things you do before you're 50, right? Just become a pole dancer.
I had a similar experience. I went to aerial gymnastics. Like they had, those things like ribbons that hang down, and
oh yes,
the hoop thing.
Yes.
It was probably about 5 or 6 years ago now. And I went with a friend because, I do things like, people say, do you want to do such a thing? And I'll go, oh, yeah, okay. I don't even think about what it is. So I went, and honestly, oh my gosh. But you know what? I managed to hang upside down in those ribbons. And
did you get back up again? That's the other question.
Well, just about is what I'm going to say. And my friend took a picture. And in that moment, I really felt like a sense of achievement. So on the other hand, but I am willing to put myself into positions of.
But you're also probably much stronger and fitter than many, 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 many other women half your age, which is also, when you look at it like that, you think, okay, this is not bad going. I can still do 8K without stopping, or I can still kind of.
Yeah. Well, so this is it, isn't it? Judgment. There we made lots of judgments in that sentence.
Yeah.
I'm fitter than half the people half my age. I mean, is this good or not, or what?
No, but that's a fact.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, that's interesting, actually.
No, but no. But I mean, you're absolutely right. It's just interesting. Like we're talking about it, but it's just so easy to bring that. And why do we do that? Does it make us feel better?
So
is it like, oh, actually, I feel like this, but if I say this about someone else, then maybe I'll feel better about myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a trap, I suppose, we might fall into, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm losing focus.
Well, that's okay. I didn't know if it was my glasses.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, there's a difference between facts and judgments, I guess. The workshop I was at this morning was all about self-promotion. And, this is something that I struggle with terribly, stating facts even, about your ability, your capability, is difficult sometimes to really say it with conviction, not to sort of minimize your achievements. And so I guess we need to be non-judgmental in that regard. If it's a fact that you're fit, if it's a fact that you've achieved, run a marathon, or whatever it is, it's a fact. And so judgment shouldn't really come into that, should it?
No, I mean that's an interesting point, actually, because how much of that, it's like confidence, right? So you also want to feel confident and proud. But I guess you judge yourself for feeling proud, or
well, so this is it. Oh dear, we're supposed to be making people feel better. I think that's the thing, though, compassion for ourselves and for others, and that this judgment is terrible when we exert it on ourselves, and equally bad if we apply it to others. So that compassion
Yeah, I think, when you just said that as well, it's just such a lifelong journey. And
Mm,
it's, I think coming back to where we started is that, we're normal, we're human beings, we do that, but it's bringing awareness to it and just be bringing that kindness and compassion back again, and
mm,
not, criticizing ourselves and smacking ourselves on the fingers every time we've done something wrong, but just
mm.
just 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 be the I was going to say be the best you can, but that's also quite striving. It's just like do what you can do on a daily basis, a moment to moment basis. And
Yeah.
like what we were saying earlier is we just want to be nicer people, nicer human beings, and we're trying to do that by practicing these things, and it doesn't make us perfect or experts, or I mean, God, yeah, it's a lifelong journey, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we open ourselves up to richer experiences in our lives. It gets you off the hamster wheel of you are not enough, and appreciating the beauty in ourselves and in others, and make it something that we do on a regular basis, just to notice. Is that me making a judgment of myself or somebody else? Is that how I want to feel? Is that how I want to be? And just take that moment to evaluate and make a decision to be different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we could just give it a shot and see what happens, and
Yeah, yeah,
play with it a little bit as well.
yeah. I think that's it, isn't it? Have fun with some of this stuff.
Otherwise, you could also take yourself way too serious, right? Like it is
Yeah,
just we're not monks. We don't sit on mountaintops. We're in the real world doing real things, being triggered moment to moment. And how do
well,
you show up in a trigger-fueled world?
yeah, well, exactly. And this is very kind. Somebody's said we're having a great conversation. Thank you for exploring it. This is really just our mission, to bring things to light, to explore it together a little bit, unpick it, put it back together, and like you said, keep it real, because this is where we are. We're real people living real lives. Oh, speaking of which, my children went back to, well, my youngest child went back to school today. So from the sublime to the ridiculous, I was surrounded, and now I'm all alone.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it? I also thought it's like I feel like I've lost a limb with my daughter
Mm,
being at school today. I'm so used to
yeah.
just the little body. Yeah, always.
I know. So we've got a shift afoot at the moment, haven't we? In lots of ways, our lives they've been upended, and the return to normality is still perilous at the moment, and filled with fear and dread for some people. So to approach this with that, like you say, with compassion, for ourselves and for others, is as much as we can do. And
Yeah, and I think just like on a last note, like we were saying before this as well, is that I don't know if I've said it now, I can't even remember, but that it begins and ends with us, and if we do it little bits every day and make it a lifelong practice, then hopefully that will be an example for the ones closest to you, and then a ripple effect hopefully to the rest of everyone you get in contact with, right? So
yeah, yeah,
that's how I think about it. You can't I can't change the world, but if I'm nicer to my daughter, hopefully she'll be a different, more compassionate kind of person, leader, whatever she wants to be one day. And that, to me, makes me very happy, if that means that she will get something from that as well.
Yeah. I think that's right. So it's a bit like a virus. We pass it on. We pass it from person to person, and yeah, that's so great. Well, thank you for this time today, and I look forward to chatting again with you next week. And have a fabulous rest of the day.
I will, thank you. Oh, yeah, there's a few more moments before life gets back to noisier.
Oh yeah, when she returns from school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, enjoy. Have a cup of tea.
I think she'll actually be excited to see me for the first time.
Oh well, this is it. Well, yeah, you'll be novel. It'll be novel now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Philippa, thank you so much. It's been lovely to chat to you again. And I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.